Okay, so I'm about 5 minutes away from seeing First Man in IMAX. Oh, that is not very good, is it? Let's just tweak that a little bit. There we go. Okay. Welcome to Iconic Movie Reviews. My name is Shane, and today we're going to be talking about First Man, starring Ryan Gosling and Claire Foy as Neil Armstrong's wife, Janet, and also directed by Damien Chazelle. If you haven't seen this movie yet, do not watch this video. Go watch my non-spoiler movie review. And as mentioned in my other video, I'm doing something a little bit different. I'm filming this from the comfort of my living room because this is where I watch most of my movies. So I actually went and saw it today with my son. We watched it in IMAX and I thought it was fantastic. Loved it. And you know me from some of my other videos, I said, you know what? I've always had a problem with the idea that we actually went to the moon. Mostly because my cell phone would cop out on me when I'm talking to someone on the phone, or maybe, I'm watching a video on YouTube or something and then all of a sudden it'll crash or whatever, right? So that is one of the biggest reasons why I had a tough time believing that we went to the moon. So, but after seeing this movie, you know what? I get it that there was a lot of struggles with this mission because it took 6-7 years for them to actually figure out how to get to the moon, because basically the Russians were kicking their ass. They had Sputnik. Sputnik was one of those little satellites, first to get that out in space. And I think they even were the first ones to put a chimpanzee out into space, first one to put a human being out into space. So they were winning left, right, and center. And then John F. Kennedy made one of the greatest speeches in American history where he said, basically, we're not going to the moon because it's easy. We're going to the moon because it's hard. We want to do it because it's hard, not because it's easy. And it's expensive, very expensive. So if you get nothing else out of this movie, hopefully you get the idea that this movie is about the cost of going to the moon. And let's talk about that final scene, the final act. I absolutely loved it. I loved the whole idea of them building up to finally getting to go to the moon. Neil Armstrong actually gets to go to the moon with Buzz Aldrin and another astronaut, which I forget right now. But anyways, they get to go to the moon. And watching it in IMAX, you actually felt like you were going to the moon. That's what I loved about it. The visual effects were just outstanding. Like, it was awesome. I come to think of it, I know they're going to actually get probably an award for either best cinematography or best editing or something, best special effects, something. They're going to get something. I know that, as mentioned in my other video, that they're going to get a bunch of nods. Ryan Gosling will get a nod for best actor. Again, maybe best editing, best cinematography, best director by Damien Chazelle, who also directed La La Land. So they might sneak away with a few Academy Awards. But I think the movie with Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga, Star is Born, I think they're going to clean up. Bradley Cooper is going to win Best Actor. Lady Gaga is going to win Best Actress. It's going to win Best Picture of the Year. Right when I first saw the trailer, I went, this is going to clean up. So yeah, I really like this. The movie was very long, but again, you're watching it in IMAX, so you want it to be a long movie. You don't want it to be 30 or 40 minutes. But I know that's some of the criticisms, that this was a really long movie and it kind of lulls a little bit more in the middle. I don't mind that. And Ryan Gosling's performance, yeah, it seemed like he was a little bit, maybe not as charismatic as we would like him to be, but maybe that's who Neil Armstrong is. I don't know. I never met the guy. So I just think overall this is a fantastic movie. Like I mentioned earlier, will I see this movie again in the movie theater? Probably not. Not unless a friend is going to see it and they want someone to go with. Then yeah, I'll go see it again. But I will definitely buy it on Blu-ray. The one scene that was a little bit disturbing for me, that bothered me in more of an emotional way, was the cockpit scene where the three astronauts, I believe one astronaut was played by Jason Clarke, who was also in Planet of the Apes and Terminator and that kind of stuff. But the three astronauts were buckled into the seatbelts, and they were actually, it looked like they used a ratchet wrench to lock them in. And then a fire broke out and they actually burnt alive. And that was disturbing for me. I didn't like that. That bothered me because I thought, what a waste. You know, these guys are spending money to go to the moon and all this kind of stuff, and people could be saved in different parts of the world. Maybe there's no drinking water and all this, and these guys died for nothing. That part bothered me. But other than that, everything else was pretty good. And I think that's why they showed it, was to get some kind of an emotional reaction. And again, causality, that affect Neil Armstrong. That's why he was always not opening up. And maybe it's kind of interesting that Jason Clarke's character actually went out to see him after these other astronauts died. And Ryan Gosling's character Neil says, do you think I came out here to talk to people? I came out here to be alone. That's very powerful. That says something about Neil Armstrong and his character. That's how he deals with pain, is he closes himself off, doesn't want to talk to anybody. And there's one scene just before the Apollo 11 mission where Claire Foy's character, Janet, has an emotional scene where she's basically telling him to tell his kids goodbye in some ways, because he may or may not return. But he needs to be honest and open with his kids, and he wasn't going to do it. So finally he does sit down and talk with them, and that was a powerful moment. So I really like this show. So yeah, if you haven't seen this movie, I encourage you to see it in IMAX. Don't waste your money, see it in 3D or anything else like that. That'll be a waste of time. But I encourage you, and like I said in my other review, the non-spoiler one, I gave this movie an 8.5. So yeah, I thought it was fantastic. And again, I wasn't a big fan of the idea that we actually went to the moon. But after watching this, I'm sold. You did it. You made it. You went to the moon. So thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed to this movie review channel, please subscribe. Click on the bell for the next review that I am doing. So thanks again, and I appreciate your time. Ciao.